Hello everyone, this is God and Center with Matthew. Today we're going to be in Proverbs again. We're in chapter 30. So we're going to go to verse 1. The words of Agur, the son of Jekaiah, his utterance. This man declared to Itiel and Usal. Surely I am more stupid than any man, and do not have the understanding of a man. I neither learned wisdom, nor have knowledge of the Holy One. I mean, some of us feel that way. I feel that way. Today I've been scrambling around trying to figure out where I'm going to be at. I actually feel this way a little bit right now. I'm just a stupid man trying to figure out how to get through these lessons and stuff. This stuff can be tricky sometimes. When I was reading Ecclesiastes, then I first started off here, then I went to Ecclesiastes, and then I jumped into Mark and Matthew, but I'd already did some of them lessons not too far ago. I even did a coin flip this morning, and it was between Ecclesiastes chapter 1 or Proverbs 30, and Proverbs 31, the coin toss. That's what it came down to this morning. I'm just trying to be honest with people. It's just sometimes I don't feel like I'm good enough to be up here, and this is what Solomon's who is the guy that wrote this book of Proverbs, and he was the smartest man on earth, and he's writing this in here. So, don't get down yourself if you don't understand everything in here. I do the best of my ability to do this and to make it make sense, where people can understand. And I won't air it if I don't understand. I haven't had to do that yet, but I won't put it on air if the thing doesn't make sense. I haven't had to do that yet. Hopefully I never have to. But we're going to go to verse 4. Who has ascended into heaven or descended? Who has gathered the wind in his fist? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? And what is his son's name, if you know? So Solomon, this is before Jesus came in, but he does know that God has a son. The son hasn't came around yet. This is back in the Old Testament. So Solomon's asking these questions like what's his name, what's God's name, and who's his son's name. We do know now that his name is Jesus. So we're going to go to verse 5. Every word of God is pure. He is a shield to those who put their trust in him. Do not add to his words, lest he rebuke you and you be a liar. So therefore, it's like this whole thing with these preachers preaching this prosperity preaching. I mean, they're taking the word of God and they're bastardizing it, is what I call. They'll have to answer to that. They're trying to make mega millions and stuff, and then they're driving around Lear jets and stuff, and that's not what any of this is about. Actually, when I was in Ecclesiastes earlier today, that's exactly sort of what it was talking about. It's like, it says for God not to make me, or maybe it's further down here, I forget. I was reading so much, I read so much this morning. It may be later down in this. Basically he's saying, don't make me super rich, and don't make me and don't make me poor. It's best to sort of be in the middle, because if you get too rich, you take your eyes off God, and if you're too poor, you may steal. I think it's later in this chapter. I know I read a lot this morning, so I'm trying to remember where I read it at, but it's just God's good, and it's like it says, every word of God is pure, which it is. We have to, and I wish that my mouth could be as pure as God's. Like, yesterday I was watching some football, and it was Auburn Alabama game, and I was saying some stuff I shouldn't say. I'm asking God now to forgive me for it. I hadn't got around to that yet. And then they was last week on some kind of post. This guy was waving a gun around a school zone or something, and people was acting like it was okay. And that guy seems like he's not mentally all there. I mean, you actually got time to take a picture of you holding a gun pointing at a dog. That's not somebody that's mentally stable. I feel like it shouldn't even be on the firearm. If you got time to take a picture, have a camera in one hand, take a picture, your life's not in jeopardy. That's my opinion, and I don't know how anybody else could see it any different. Because if I'm in fear of my life, I'm gonna grab the gun and probably just shoot. If I feel like that there's something that bad, or I sure wouldn't have been trying to record nothing. I'd be focused on what was going on. But I said some stuff in the comments that wasn't godly and wasn't right. I said some stuff, and I want to apologize to everybody that's watching for the comments, because it was people was like sometimes you get into self-defense mode when people start attacking you, and that's what it was. I mean, I'm not perfect. I get up here and do this stuff, but man, I'm far from perfect, and I do try to be holy like God. But man, it's hard. Some people bring the worst out in you, and sometimes ball games will bring out the worst in you. It's like it's a daily work, and at least I acknowledge it, and I know where I'm failing at. So now I've just got to work to be better at watching what comes out of my mouth. So we're going to go to verse 7 now. 2 things I request of you. Deprive me not before I die. Remove falsehoods and lies from me. Give me neither poverty, there it is, give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with the food allotted to me. So that's what I'm asking God today, is to remove falsehood and lies from me. I mean, I try not to lie, and I don't think I really do that much, but any falsehoods that I may be telling is like it's maybe I was just ignorant, like it's talking about up here at the top. Sometimes we can just be ignorant and speaking falsehoods, not even knowing, just because we're ignorant of the facts of the matter, which I may be ignorant of the facts of that situation. So that's just what it is. Sometimes we're just ignorant. We jump to conclusions, and we don't know what we're talking about. Sometimes we'll jump the gun and start talking about things we don't know the full story of, and that may be what I did this week. I don't know. It seemed very dangerous. Regardless of what actually was going on, it just seemed very dangerous to have a phone out. But right here it was talking about like what I just told you. Give me neither poverty nor riches. I'm gonna go ahead and start reading again from verse 8. Remove falsehood and lies from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with the food allotted to me, lest I be full and deny you, and say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and profane the name of my God. So, people that's in poverty sometimes do things they have to survive, and then get to blaming God for some of this stuff. I know that I have blamed God before when I was out there in the world. I guess you could say I was in poverty. Maybe I wasn't. I mean, there was a time I was. There was a couple of years that I guess I could say I was in poverty. It was because of my own actions, though. It wasn't because of God. It wasn't because what He had done. It was because of my actions that I was doing caused me to be a very, very bad human being, a terrible son, a terrible family member, a terrible friend. I tried not to be any of that stuff, but it was the drugs wore me down to where I just didn't care nothing about nobody, no God, no nothing but that. I didn't care about nobody. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care whether I lived or died. It didn't. At that point, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. So I just cut that thing down. It's still beeping. I don't understand. But anyways, that's what Solomon's telling him. Solomon was rich. He was the richest guy that's ever been around, from what I understand. I mean, he's been richer than even Bill Gates and Elon Musk and stuff. And this guy has so many women that I don't think it could be counted. But he's begging for this. So he's witnessed. I don't think he ever witnessed poverty, but he witnessed being rich, and he's saying that, you know, that it's best to be in the middle, to be in the middle class basically, and to not be suffering, but not to also be having so much abundance. Man, that phone. Let's see. So I'm gonna go to verse 9 now. No, I've already read that. We're gonna go to verse 10 now. Do not malign a servant to his master, lest he curse you, and ye be found guilty. There is a generation that curses its father and does not bless its mother. There's a generation that is pure in its own eyes, yet is not washed from its filthiness. There's a generation going on right now. Now it must skip every so often or pop up every so often. Generations of people like this. There's like right now, and I don't know exactly what generation it is, but I can't. You know, I'm a Generation X. I don't think it's part of the generation I'm in, but there's probably some people in it. But he's talking about there's a whole group, and that's what's going on right now. All this transsexual stuff and all this just we don't need men type talk. And I'm not saying that I'm not trying to down talking that stuff, but man, it's really, we need each other. Men need women and women need men. That's the way it was made. That's the way God created us. It wasn't that we need to be independent on our own and all this stuff. It's like this is nonsense. These women are teaching women nonsense, and then men are teaching men nonsense. They're teaching stuff that's not biblically, and they're prideful and boastful. And it's a sad thing to see going on in this country right now. These people getting on TikTok teaching these young girls, these young boys, bad habits, bad things that they're teaching these kids, and these people aren't happy. These people aren't happy, man. They're miserable. You know, so if you keep listening to people that's miserable, I'm happy. I'm content. Could I be happier? Yes, I could be happier. You know, but I'm actually at peace because I'm not in poverty, and I'm not rich. I'm like what Solomon said is the perfect place to be at. You know, I'm not wanting for nothing, but there is things that still is on the checklist of things to do. But I'm not actually hurting for nothing. If I never get married, that's going to be okay in my book, I guess. You know, that's not the way God created it, but you know, like I said last week, Paul talked about it, that it's best for us to abstain from women if we can. And they cause a lot of grief and trouble and drama. I'm sure men do too. I'm not going to say men don't, so I'm not trying to beat up on women today. It's not about beating up on any gender. It's beating up on what's going on in the world, and the way the world is twisted and bastardized this word, and it's sickening. It's sickening. Like right here it says, "Yet is not washed from its filthiness." I mean, you know, Solomon's talking about it here. 13. There is a generation, oh, how lofty of their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation, those teeth are like swords, and whose fangs are like knives, to devour the poor from the earth, and the needy from among men. And the leech has two daughters, give and give. That's what they're all about. Give and give. Give, 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 give. That's some of the churches today. That's some of the men, some of the women, in relationships. Give, 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 give. It's not give, give, give. It's like give and take. It's give and take. It's a partnership. The church is a partnership with us. The friendship is a partnership. It's not just give, it's give, take. Any kind of relationship you're in is supposed to be give, take. It's not give and give. It says that the leech has two daughters, give and give. And that's where a lot of people are right now. A lot of people are just leeches. These are three things that are never satisfied. Four never say enough. The grave, the barren woman, the earth that is not satisfied with water, and the fire never says enough. The eyes that mock its father and scorns obedience to his mother, the ravens of the valley will pluck it out, and the young eagles will eat it. Verse 18. There are three things which are too wonderful for me, yes, for which I do not understand. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent on the rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a virgin. Nature is beautiful. Seeing that eagle soar, I couldn't imagine being that eagle. And that's what Solomon's saying right there. I don't understand about the serpent on the rock, but it is what he's talking about. And the ship in the sea, man. It's just amazing anytime I see something like that. These big old just ships out there on the sea and being able to travel and like airplanes and things like that. I've been watching a bunch of History Channel lately and been watching how this stuff got done, and it's just amazing how us as humans pulled together and figured all this stuff out. But we still want to fight against each other. We still want to be mean to each other. We still want to take from each other. We want to just be reckless. So now I'm going to go to verse 21. Hold on. We'll go to verse 20. This is the way of an adulterous woman. She eats and wipes her mouth and says, I have done no wickedness. That's the truth. People get into these people's in marriages. They want to blame the other partner for the reason why they cheated. It's not just men. It says adulterous woman, but there's adulterous men and stuff out there too. I said I'm not trying to blame either gender for what's going on in this world. I blame the country. I blame the school system. I blame parents. That's who's to blame. It's not anything else. And then the individual for not seeking God. I mean, I don't know who's watching out there, but are you seeking God to the best of your ability? I do the best of my ability, man. My ability is not like the best ability. I mean, I'm doing this, but I barely get through this, man. I'm not no super Christian. I'm not no super anything, man. I'm just struggling like everybody else. But I also like to get up here and read and teach what God has showed me through revelation of reading this book. And that's what we're supposed to do. Whatever thing we can do. If it's us making coffee at the church, then let's do that. If it's help picking up after church, help directing traffic at church. If it's just taking food to somebody in need, because somebody in need. If it's somebody that you see that's down and out that you can help, then let's just do that. Let's make the world a better place. There's this comedian, Damon Darwin. I don't know if y'all seen him, but if you can Google him, he's a pretty cool cat, man. He'll go up in the grocery stores and try to give people. He's always asking for dollars, but then he's also usually buying people's groceries. People get shocked thinking he's wanting something in return, but it's just he's just trying to show people there's still good in the world. You know, I like that guy, and you know he says he's got success to give. He jokes around about it, but I believe that's probably true. So he tries to get back what he can when he can. You know, he maybe shouldn't be filming it, but the filming's good because I get to see it. I get to see like good things going on in the world. So we'll go to verse 21. For three things the earth is, let's see, broke me into tears a little bit talking about him. For three things on the earth, putrid. Yes, the four is cannot. Yes, for four it cannot bear up. For a servant with its reins, a fool when he is filled with the food, a hasteful woman when she is married, a maidservant who succeeds her mistress. There are four things which are little on the earth, but they are exceedingly wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare food in the summer. The rock badgers are a feeble folk, yet they make their homes in the crags. The locusts have no king, yet they all advance in ranks. The spider skillfully grasps with its hands, and it is grasped with its hands, and it is in kings' palaces. There are three things which are majestic in pace. Yes, four which are stately in walk. A lion which is mighty among the beasts, and does not turn away from any. A greyhound, a male goat also, a king whose troops are with him. For as the churning of milk produces butter, the ringing of a nose produces blood, so the forcing of wrath produces strife. So this is all about like just being kind to each other and respecting people, man. You know, all these little animals and stuff, they have their own little things figured out. It's talking about the locusts really don't have a king, but they all, you know, graduate in rankings and stuff. We only have one king, and that's Jesus. You know, we only have one king, and that's Jesus, and that's who we should be following. We shouldn't be following this person. We shouldn't be following Donald Trump. We shouldn't be. I mean, I like the guy, but whatever. We shouldn't be following after famous people. We shouldn't be following after nobody that's not talking about Jesus. Now, if Trump's talking some good stuff about Jesus, you won't listen to that. But some of that stuff he says is foolishness. You know, he isn't a king. I believe he's a good president. I believe that he's doing the best he can. But we are supposed to be following his word. We're supposed to be listening to what God tells us and not to man. You know, it's talking about the turning of milk produces butter, and the ringing of a nose produces blood. So the forcing of wrath produces strife. So we don't need to be picking at people. We don't need to be stirring up trouble in our relationships, whether it be a marriage relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be at work. You know, we're supposed to be trying to be more Christ-like every day. This thing is just jammed up. I got to get into that, but I hope you got something out of the lesson today. I know I did. I've read that a couple different times, and then I read some other stuff that I read 3 or 4 chapters of trying to get to this lesson today, and you know, I just pray that you got something out of it and understood what's you know, that we need God. We need God, and we need to lean on Him, and we don't need to be following men. We need to be following after Christ. We need to be following after His footsteps, and this word. You know, Solomon was a very smart man, so I made a bunch of mistakes. I need to get into some of the storyline of Solomon. I've been putting off for what reason I don't know. Like I said, some of these things are sort of hard reads. Sometimes I like to stay in one chapter when I'm doing it. You know, a lot of preachers most preachers like to jump around to do their lesson, not to stay in one chapter. That way we can get the full knowledge of what's is being said in that particular chapter. Because I feel like when you jump around, some preachers can tie stuff together that don't necessarily need to be tied together. Some things are. Some things do need. Some things are good to jump around and tie together, but some things are made for manipulation, and I'm trying to make sure that I never do that. I don't ever want to manipulate nobody or make up some crap. I want to just go by what the Word of God says and where the Spirit leads me, and that's where I'm at, and that's where I want to stay at. I don't never want to get to a point to where I'm trying to manipulate or twist, because it mentions something about altering the Word of God in there. We just got through reading, and that's what some preachers do. It's like the sinner's prayer. It's been altered. That's not nowhere in the Bible, and it's not biblical. You know, it's about the baptism. I mean, I'm seeing where somebody posted, and I've been seeing other stuff where these 3,000 people got saved at such and such. Well, did they get water baptism, or did they just say this little sinner's prayer that's nowhere scripturally in here? Because if so, then 3,000 people did not get saved. As a matter of fact, they got lied to. They should have been submerged in water and asked a few questions, and they got dunked and they come up. Then they're saved. It's not we say a little prayer and that's it. That's not what this Word of God says. So I just hate people. I don't really hate people. I hate the way people's get manipulated. You know, it just burns me up to see that these people are lying to thousands of people. That's not what the Word of God says. Nowhere in this Word of God does it have a sinner's prayer anywhere in this Bible. And I urge you to dig through it and find it, and you're going to see that everybody that got saved in the Bible, they did one thing: they got baptized. I know that wasn't part of the lesson, but it sort of was, because it talked about changing the Word of God, and that's what some of these modern day preachers has done. That sinner's prayer wasn't around till like the early 20s. That's when it started. So you take that and look it up, and if you hadn't been baptized, I urge you to get a hold of me. I can get you some water, or figure it out yourself. Maybe somebody that'll do it, but I just want to tell everybody I love them, and I appreciate you watching, and y'all have a blessed week.